On this channel, $1 Million Made Easy, we love to run numbers for people. I got this request. He thanked me for some of my other videos. He says, I have a question. I'm in my early 40s and I have $1.3 million in my retirement account. My yearly spending is 100K, including car and mortgage, and my yearly savings are 100K. How soon can I retire? Well, it all depends on what you want to retire on, what amount you want. But here's what we do on this channel. We run the actual historical returns of the S&P 500 for the last 100 years. Number two, we project ahead what similar returns might do for you in the future. And number three, the resulting numbers are simply a possible range of what may happen in the future. And I want you to specifically look at number six. This channel was made for you as an aid, but don't rely on it alone in your financial planning. You've left me too many questions I need answered, but I'm going to go ahead and run the numbers with what I think you might be asking for. We put the 1.3 million in there as your beginning balance. We're having you contribute 8250 a month, which is 99,000 a year, which you said you can afford. And I ran the numbers for every single year to see where the numbers might turn out, both from the 15 through the 25-year period. If you're in your early 40s, we'll look at the 15, 17, and 19. For early 40s, this would put you around 60 or so, 62 or so. In that case, for a 19-year period, you would have put in 3.181 million over that 19 years. And in the worst case scenario, in the last 100 years, using the S&P 500, you would add $6.289 million. I happen to know that's 1956. I ran it right here, 1956. Everything was going along good. You had some down years, another down, another down, another down. And then what happened? You had 9 million right here. And then you hit the 73, 74, down 14, down 26, which ended up with ending up with 6.289. Of course, none of the returns going forward are going to match these, but this gives us a range. So we're going to see a range anywhere from 6.289 over those 19 years up to 41 million, with the median in this column being 15 million. So what I'm going to do is take this right here. This is the worst case scenario in the last 100 years for a 19-year period, giving these amounts. I want to take into account the historical inflation rate of 3.27 over that last 100 years. And that would have the buying power of $3.13 million in 19 years. So I'm going to take the 3.13 million over here, put it over here. I'm going to have you taken out the same 8250, 100,000, because I've already taken into account the inflation. We've the buying power of that 6.289 to 3.413 million. So we're going to take out the 8250, and I went ahead and ran the numbers. See how many times you might run out of money with that scenario. And you can see, because you're at a withdrawal rate of only 2.9%. Again, if you can stay at 4% or close to it, you're not going to run out of money in any of these years. The only time you really run out of money is if you're at 4%, and 1929 is the only time. 1% of the time we've run it in other videos. But this is what I wanted to run the numbers for you, but I don't know whether you're looking at wanting to retire in 19 years. If we did the 15 years, there's 3.524 million, which is the worst case scenario. Again, that happens to be 1927. This is what we can do with this channel, on all kinds of variables, but I really need more information from this individual. But if he would do it for 15 years, he's in his early 40s, do this same scenario, start at 1.3 million, investing 8250 a month into the S&P 500. The worst case scenario is right here, 1927. Why 1927? Because everything's going along good, and then you hit these down years, down 4, down another one, down 35%, down 2 more, so that by the time you get to the 19th year, the 15th year, you're down to 3.524 million. It came back nicely the very next year, but if we take this 3.524, the buying power of that in 15 years would be 2.174. With the 3.27 inflation rate. If I take this over there, 2.174, over here to the withdrawal stage, 2.174, hopefully understanding what I'm doing here. You want to take out the same 99,000 because we've already taken into account inflation. So this 8250, if you take that out of this amount, let's see, I'm not going to go ahead and update this. And do it for every single year for the last 100 years. Given this scenario, 5% of the time you'd run out of money. This is the actual graph. During the Depression years, and it looks like the year 2000. We've seen in other videos that 2000 was a problematic decade, and so were the 1930s. A lot of people say don't worry about the 1930s, but even the 2000s, you'd be running out of money with this scenario. But again, folks, this is the worst case scenario for this individual for this 15-year period. He asked, "Can I retire?" I don't know. Are you comfortable with that? Are you comfortable with the numbers I've given you? I really don't know what to tell you. You'd be better off 19 years. And look at these minimum. And I'm looking at the absolute worst case scenario at each one of these. In 21 years, you'd have the worst case scenario 8.291. Uh, that would have the buying power of 4.218 after 21 years. But that's what we do on this channel. We run different numbers for you. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Please tell your friends about it. Tell them there's a channel out there that'll run numbers for them. I didn't even look at a different asset allocation. We could do that too. There's so many different variables. This question kind of left me open-ended. I didn't know exactly what numbers to run because I wasn't sure what he was looking for. He says, "Can I retire?" Well, I gave you some scenarios. I gave you some of the worst case scenarios. I told you what the S&P 500 would have done. And again, we always project ahead what similar returns might do for you in the future. If I want to run numbers for you, give me your beginning balance, your monthly contribution, and your desired increase. Now go ahead and do it. Thanks for watching.